social media.
They can't cancel me.
You're still everywhere on social media.
They've tried, but they can't.
What do you think the reason was? I mean, I've seen some of the things that you've said that are controversial.
That's not why they canceled me. They attempted to cancel me because I became the most Googled man on the planet. And I had mass influence over the youth, especially males, 18 to 23, 24-year-old males.
Yeah.
And those are the backbone of the slave force. And we always have been and always will be. It doesn't matter if you look at modern times or ancient times. If you had to build an aqueduct or a road or raise an army, you'd go and find the 18 to 22, 23-year-old fighting age males. We're the most important demographic on the planet. We're the strongest, we have the most energy, we're the most capable of doing the most difficult tasks. And they try very hard to police that demographic specifically. The reason that they talk all this garbage about toxic masculinity, and the reason that they purport in every single movie that men are getting beaten up by chicks, and every single family movie on Netflix, the woman's the smart one and the dad's a bumbling idiot, and all these different things, is they're trying to reduce the masculine tendency to rebel to a degree, because they want this subsect of the population ready to either go die in a ditch or go work for fucking nothing. And what they don't want, the last thing they want, is this subsect of the population to think, because that's the subsect of a populace which causes a revolution. If millions of 18 to 25-year-old men stand in one place, that's a revolution. That's it. It's over. It's not the women marching. The women can march. That's fine. But when shit happens, men have to come along and deal with it. Police have to protect them. Women can march and have an opinion. That's great. But an actual revolution is going to be men, because eventually it's going to become violent. And they don't want large groups of men standing up and going, wait, 3 years you just took all our money, destroyed our businesses. Now the pound is falling. You're inflating us out of the housing market. We don't stand a chance of ever having any kind of financial independence. You're destroying our energy sector to save Ukraine, money laundering. This is garbage. And if enough of them get in a big group in London, then something has to change. And they don't want anything to change. So they try and keep this population subdued. And I'm telling them to do the opposite. I'm telling them to think. And that's the last thing they want. So they decided, Andrew's telling the population, the subsect of the population that we're most fearful of, to think for themselves. So Andrew has to go. And they attempted to cancel me. They have failed. Now I have to make sure they don't try and suicide me. That's the next goal. Well, because what happens if you don't shut up, eventually that's what comes next. So for everyone watching at home, I would never kill myself. But yeah, it's interesting times we're living in, that's for sure.
How did it make you feel when you got removed off of all social media platforms? I mean, were you upset about it? Were you?
Top G, bro. I've been around. I've had a hard life.
Yeah.
I've had a hard life. I've had a difficult upbringing. I've had very difficult situations. Even my day-to-day reality would be too stressful for 99.9% of people on the planet. Losing Instagram accounts or not.
But you predicted it would happen as well.
I predicted. I've been talking about it for a long time. I said, there's no way they're going to allow me to stay on these platforms. It's not in their best interest for me to stay on these platforms. It's not in their best interest for people who watch my products, watch my content and buy my products to sit there and go, I don't need anything else. This guy's telling the truth. I'm listening to him. I'm making more money than ever before. My life is better than it's ever been. Fuck school, fuck uni, fuck you, fuck the news, fuck you. I'm following Andrew. And that's why they want to try and get rid of me. It failed. I've moved over to Rumble now. I'm on rumble.com. And the stock price has blown up ever since I've moved over, and I've got 600,000 subs inside of 2 or 3 weeks.
Well, congratulations.
Thank you. So
that's big on Rumble.
Yeah, bro, it's massive on Rumble. Like, no one talked about Rumble, right? So they've failed to stop me. They've emptied their clip, and I'm still here. I'm still alive. The bullets have bounced off. But that's the real reason they canceled me. I don't know if you know the story of Socrates. Socrates had to poison himself. He was arrested, and he was accused of corrupting the youth. That's why. He was tried for making the young military-aged men of Greece think for themselves. That's not allowed. You're not allowed. Since the dawn of human time, you're not allowed to do that. And I'm committing the cardinal sin. I'm saying to men, listen, they're trying to tell you X, and that's garbage. The truth is Y. And that's why they decided to leave.
What do you think is going to happen over the next few years with the cost of living crisis, which is not just in the UK, it's pretty much all over the world.
Yeah.
People are literally, the average salary is about 25, 30 grand a year. Everything's going up apart from salaries. How do you see the next few years panning out?
I'm going to say this now, and I'm someone from a council estate. I don't have a clue how the average person is still surviving. I don't get it. Like 25, 30 grand a year in the current world is such a tiny amount of money. It's, man, it's about to be worse than ever before. It's going to be have-nots and have-yachts. It's always been that way.
Yeah.
But it's going to become worse and worse. As inflation gets out of control, as the price of assets soar, the rich are going to become richer and the poor are going to become poorer. I don't think that most people, I'm going to correct myself, I know that most people don't understand economics as a whole. They don't understand money as a whole, because if the people watching this, if they all understood how all this shit worked, there'd be a revolution tomorrow. So they don't understand any of it. But it's very difficult for a government to even